do that. Deep breathing is very nice. It gives you confidence. Then focus on your presentation. So there are a lot of things that come to your mind. There are ideas, whether I'm speaking well or not, whether I'm looking good or not, whether people are liking what I say or not, whether people are understanding what I say or not. All these things can keep coming to your mind, but then keep them aside. You should focus on your presentation, focus on your idea, focus on what you really want to say, right? So point number G is focusing on your presentation. Number H says, do not fear a moment of silence. So when you're speaking, there could be pauses. There could be a moment when you take a break, when you want to take a deep breath, or maybe when you actually want to recollect what you really wanted to say. You want to join the ideas. You want to switch the idea. You want to look for an example. There could be so many moments of that sort when you actually go silent, right? So in such a situation, don't you worry. You can simply take a silent moment and then go to the next part of your presentation. And finally, recognize your success. If you're doing well, be happy about it. If you've done well in past, uh, take pride in it. Thank God for it. Have gratitude towards the Almighty, that He has given you such skill and such good moments, and then have confidence within yourself that yes, you've done it once and you can do it number of times. So these are the things that will help you perform better, right? Going to the next slide now. An example, I'll have you know, I gave a minute long speech in class today and I only said 43 times. Right? So this happens. We're there on the stage for a long time and we kind of are facing the public, but then at times we just are not able to convey what we really want to. So it's okay. It's okay. There are failures in life, and nothing can guarantee success apart from trying and trusting God. Right? So this was block 2. Now I'm directly switching to block 3 now. And block 3, MMPC 007, begins with what? With basics of written business communication. Cool. Okay. Okay. So now, as an exercise, I have a request. If you people can see your screen, if you people can see your screen, give me as many words as possible, maybe diagonally, maybe horizontally or vertically, as many words as possible that you can identify in this matrix. Who will give me? Give me words that you understand. Yeah.
There is teapot,
Teapot.
table,
Okay. Okay.
There's
Just a second.
there's end
Teapot. Table. Yeah. And
the end table able
sorry.
Cycle,
then
How do you spell that? Cycle.
cycle,
Okay. Okay. Got it. Bicycle. Cycle. Yeah.
Mine
There is
is
fork.
mine.
Mike. How do you spell that?
the there's
My
cycle
my my.
My. Okay. My. Okay. And
there's unblock,
there is bow, BO,
there is what?
And the cycle,
unblock,
Unblock.
the cycle,
Unblock. Okay.
on
Okay.
top, reverse,
there is bow,
U and yellow.
BOW,
Sorry.
bow, BOW, or bow.
VOW. Wow. Okay. Okay.
BO, like
table,
B for bow,
Bow.
B,
Okay. Bow. Bow. Okay. Bow.
bow, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
table,
Sorry.
table,
Table. Table
recycle
already done. Table already done.
There is vote,
recycle
Sorry.
vote, VOTE, vote.
No. Spelling?
VOTE, like vote, election, vote.
Vote. Perfect. Vote.
Oval.
Very good. Vote.
There's a word sun.
Oval.
Yeah. Sun. S-U-N sun or S-O-N sun?
SUN sun. There's
SUN.
unblock. You can get block as well.
Block. Okay. Yeah.
Oval. Oval.
Yeah.
Oval.
Yeah. Cool. A lot of them you found out actually. Smart. Very nice. So
Lacy.
also had moth in it.
Lacy. LACEY.
We had oyster, teapot, apricot, recycle, end table, sun block, necklace. Wonderful. But then well tried. You've already found out a lot of other words too. Smart kids. Cool. Well, now look at this slide. What do you understand? So, in this slide, I can see there is a table. On that table lies a plate, some cutlery, a fork and a knife. There is a tissue paper. There is a bottle of tomato ketchup. And probably the client who had come to the restaurant had written this with the ketchup in the bottle. He has written, waited 30 minutes, got no service. Yes? Then again, you can see a lot of feedback forms over here. Customer service. Excellent, average, poor. Somebody stick mark poor over here. Satisfied or dissatisfied, and dissatisfied encircled over here. Excellent, good or average, poor, somebody has written that, right? So see, the problem is, the written communication is such an integral part of our life, and it is everywhere, so much scattered, and it has such pervasive reach that we cannot do without it. Even if you're having a restaurant, you're running a restaurant, and there is nothing related to written work, written job over there. Your clients are coming, you gotta serve them food, they eat and they're happy and they pay and they go back. But there also, written communication is so important. How? Once they reach there, you have to offer them a menu card. So people read their choice through that menu card. Now, whether it is on display board or some sort of a screen, or it is a hard copy menu card, but then there is a menu card that you offer them. Then there is a bill you offer them, and then they give you feedback forms, right? So communication can never be restricted. It cannot be stopped. It has to happen, right? And written communication is such pervasive. Now, this kind of pictures, this kind of feedback is so very common on internet these days, right? All these hotels, restaurants, and for that matter, any educational institution, hospital, any kind of organization, people are giving their feedback on Google. They're giving their feedback on Instagram. They're giving their feedback on YouTube, right? So once you are there to check out a hotel, whether it is good or not, when you're making your bookings, you go through reviews given by people, and all this is also written communication. And hence, written communication remains an integral part of business. It becomes very crucial, in fact, to business, all the more, even when we're living in the age of internet business, of digital marketing, and online buying. Even then, written communication is so crucial. Yeah. Look at this. Business communication involves a lot of emails, reports, presentations, conference calls, and social media. And all this involves a lot of communication through words. So now, what is the process of writing? What is the process of writing? There are certain steps that we have marked. So step number one is understanding your reader. Who is it? So, as in the case of Star, when we were doing a presentation, also the step number one was to understand who that person is. I've already explained it to you, so I don't ponder over it much now. Number two is finding the purpose. What is your intent? Again, this we had discussed. What is the purpose of doing it? Yes. Number three, starting the writing process. So when you start writing, you just have to understand whom are you writing for and what is the intention of writing, and then you start jotting it down. Developing idea. So for developing the idea, you do your research also. You get information from a lot of sources. You get your data. You get the supporting examples, supporting other elements. Right? Has somebody kept his mic on? By the way, has somebody left his or her mic on? Usman, can you please keep your mic off? Keep yourself mute, please. Usman, Nasir Usman. Yeah, cool. Thank you. So, you develop your idea. You understand who your reader is when you're writing. Again, if you're writing an advertisement, is it for your clients? If you're writing a report, it is probably for your senior staff. You're right. So you need to understand that. Number two is, what is the purpose? You want to convey certain results. You want to engage people into your company's services. You want to attract them to buy your products. So understanding the process. Number three is starting with the writing process. You just begin your jotting down your pointers and keywords, and then developing your ideas, doing your research, adding data, adding facts to it. Number five is writing a plan, right? So how do you go about it? That also you jot down somewhere. How do you do that? The plan, right? So in step number three, you just started jotting down. Number four, you get a lot of ideas and data. And number five is writing a plan. Now I am giving you an idea. How do you write your plan? This is called mind map. It is called mind map. Take a rough paper or a plain sheet of paper. On it, you write all those words that come to your mind. How do you do that? Keep the central idea in mind, your purpose in mind, your target in mind, and probably the related things that you want to keep in mind. Right? Maybe the stakeholders, maybe the people involved, maybe the limitations you have, the deadlines you have, all those pointers you write in mind. And then start writing all the words that come to your mind related to it. Mind map can be created using the combination of color coding, short text, doodles, short phrases, division of knowledge or information, anything that comes to your mind, anything that you get from anywhere. Jot down everything around that one point on that sheet of paper, and let that be there. You can do it in different colors. You can do it in form of pictures or doodles or words or jargon or whatever, but then this will help you bring all that information on one paper, right? So so once you're done, then you can begin your main job. And what is that main job? Structuring, how to outline. Now you have all the raw material in your hand. Now this raw material has to be structured. What will come first? What will come after that? What will follow it? How will be the conclusion? Where are you going to give the proofs? Where are you going to give the uh, experimental things over there? All those things. The structuring has to be done. What comes before? What comes after? What comes under what heading? What comes under what subheading? How many pointers you want to give? That structuring has to be done over here, right? Then comes point number 8, the step number 8, putting it on the paper. Now take your paper, the actual paper where you want to start writing your document. See? Now, then comes step number 9, reworking the draft. How do you revise? So, there is a very interesting concept in, once again, in radio. Since I hail from radio, I give you examples from radio. So, there we say there's something called the first draft principle. First draft principle. right? So the first draft principle says whatever comes to your mind, you should draft the first, first form into it. Do it, write it, jot it down, right? And then keep it aside. Some of us even say tear it and throw it away. But then I say keep it aside. Now, with that first draft in your hand, start writing the second one. So the first one is of no use. It will just give you a structure, a body, everything that you have to do. But then the actual beauty will come. The actual finesse will come when you rework the draft. You kind of revise it. So there will be things which are being repeated in your first draft. There could be some things which are missing out in your first draft. There could be some words that are repeating in your first draft. There could be some examples that are required in your first draft. All these things will come in your second draft, making it more apt and beautiful and compact. Suppose the second draft, once you've completed and you go through it, you don't like it, go for the third draft. And if you're happy with it, take it to someone for proofreading. Maybe your colleague, maybe your friend, maybe your superior, your boss, somebody, take it to them for a proofreading, and then integrate feedback that you get from people, which is the step number 10. Now, integrating the feedback, everything, then you come up with the final draft, which is polished, which is nicely done. You check all your grammatical mistakes, you check all your spelling mistakes, you check all your punctuations, and then you finalize. That is called the final editing or proofreading. That's how your writing work is done. So there are 10 steps. I will once again take you through. Step number 1 is understanding your reader. Who is it? Step number 2 is finding the purpose. What is your intent? Step number 3 is starting the writing process, actually getting into it. Step number 4 is developing ideas, doing your research, bringing in all the data and everything. Step number 5 is writing a plan, which you do through mind maps. And then step number 7 is structuring, giving it an outline. Step number 8 is putting it on the paper, the first draft. Step number 9 is doing the second draft. Step number 10 is after getting the second draft, you going through it and then getting a feedback from people, you do a final draft, do the polishing of the final draft, editing of the final draft, proofreading of the final draft, and then publish it wherever you want to. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go for some case studies. Whatever feedback I have gotten from you people, directly, indirectly, that the case studies are engaging. You like those case studies. So again, today I have a lot of case studies. Let us begin with this one. Have you people seen the movie Titanic? Did you see the movie Titanic? Hollywood movie Titanic? Yeah,
Yeah.
you've seen it?
Yes.
Did you know about the ship called Titanic? There was actually,
Yeah.
yeah, this is a real life story. The ship Titanic.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, Mazumba has actually known the story of Titanic. Yeah, cool. So Titanic was actually a ship in 1912, and this ship was the most high-tech ships of those times. Today, of course, the technology has come a long way, but in those days, it was said that it is the best technology-based ship, and hence this ship will never sink. This ship will never sink. This has a beautiful stories. A lot of people have written poems on Titanic. Movies have been made on Titanic. So Titanic, when it went for its first journey, unfortunately met with an accident. It struck an iceberg, and the ship sunk 1912. And there are painful stories of Titanic. If you've seen the movie, it was a very heartwarming story, heartwarming movie also. So yes, Titanic. Now, how do I correlate Titanic and my written this thing? Yeah, case study. Sure. Let's see that. Sinking of the Titanic. April 1912, the maiden voyage. So the irony of this story is that the ship was said to be the best ship of all times, and they claimed that the ship will never sink. But the irony was it sank on its first journey itself. So sad. The maiden voyage of a ship called Titanic. As a modern marvel, it had all the types of bells and whistles, all that it could have for communication, including a top of the line Marconi wireless communication system with Morse code. So those times it was the latest technology of communication, and people could actually send signals and telegrams from the ship wherever they were on the voyage. They could send written messages to their relatives. So this was happening live on that ship. Yeah, it was so good. So passengers were sending messages to friends and family on land with notes brought to Titanic's wireless officer Jack Phillip. So there were people on the ship, hundreds of people were there on the ship, and they were sending signals, messages to their relatives. This had never happened. People were so happy and elated. They were sending messages, right? We are here, and this is what is happening, and we are happy, and the weather is so good, and all those messages were flowing in and out from Titanic. And Jack Phillip was coordinating them through Morse code. But after this final cheery message about the nice weather, the last happy message that was sent from Titanic was about the beautiful weather. The next message Philip sent was more dire. So, the moment the ship struck the iceberg and the news spread on the ship, and people realized that, okay, this is something which is fatal. The ship is now finally going to sink. Even after striking the iceberg, people had hopes that since this ship is technologically so advanced, it will not sink. But their ideas, their notions met their what do you say? Uh, their fate. Yeah, and the reality check happened, and they were in a reality check, and they found out that the ship is sinking. So then what happened? They started sending messages of help. Come at once, have struck a berg. This was the message being sent from Titanic. Now, there were so many messages being sent. Do you realize on days of New Year and days of celebrations and festivities, till 2 3 years ago, congestions used to happen. Yeah, everybody used to send messages, SMSs and WhatsApp messages, and they get congested. So your message would get delivered next day. Yeah, this was happening last year and before last year. Now, of course, technology has advanced. But then on Titanic also, since so many messages were being sent, there was a congestion of messages. So the messages of help, they were also taking time to be sent. Titanic began to send distress signals. With Titanic beginning to take on water, it was sinking. Each tapped out call for help took time. It was taking time to send messages because a lot of messages were there in the process. Other ships kept asking for more information. Even one or two messages were going out, but the details were taking time to be sent. There were ships around, but they did not know how to help, what has happened, where they are. It was all taking time. Other ships kept asking for more information and confirmation of the disaster. The communication system became clogged with so many ingoing and outgoing messages that the Titanic's SOS pleas were getting lost. So, had people used the communication properly, they did not, if they were not misusing the communication channels, if they were not sending too many messages, probably the right messages would have got the right people at the right time, and maybe more lives could have been saved. Maybe all lives could have been saved. Maybe, you never know. You never know. So, how important is written communication? How important is communication? This tragedy tells us that as well. Yeah, yeah, truly. Titanic. Now I'm taking you to the next case study. What is this next case study? Bhopal Gas Tragedy. Okay. Has anybody heard of Bhopal? Has anybody heard of Bhopal? Bhopal? Has anybody heard?
Yes, yes, I have idea.
What do you know about Bhopal,
That was
Usman?
me, Vasant. It's about the Bhopal gas tragedy. The gas leak
Yes, yes,
happened.
Usman. Good. And Vasant, have you heard about
Yeah, that was
Bhopal?
me speaking all the while.
Bhopal. Sorry?
It was me who was speaking about the
Oh, you were
Bhopal
speaking.
gas
Oh, I'm so
tragedy.
sorry, Vasant. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
Okay, so
yeah.
you've heard about Bhopal gas tragedy. Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And what do you know about Bhopal gas tragedy?
I think there was some negligence at the factory, and then the gas started expanding, something like this, and
Yes,
explosions
yes,
happened.
yes,
Gas
yes.
leak. Yeah.
Absolutely right, Vasant.
Yeah.
So, for everybody else who haven't come across this thing, I'd let you know. So, in 1984, in December, 3rd of December, the city that I live in, Bhopal, there was a factory over here. It was called the Union Carbide, right? This factory was uh, uh, it used to manufacture insecticides actually, right? And there were poisonous gases and chemicals in that factory. Now this factory was built in the heart of this city. So as a matter of fact, I'm sure you people, all of you understand that this kind of poisonous stuff should never be made within a city, right? This kind of poisonous factories should not be set up in the heart of the city among inhabited areas. But then this factory was made in the city. It was run by an American company called Union Carbide, and Mr. Anderson was the chief of this. He was the CEO of this company. So they were running this business in Bhopal, and they were making these chemicals here in Bhopal, right? So in December 1981, a gas leak had happened in Union Carbide plant. So in 1981, a small leakage happened, since they had liquids that were poisonous. They had poisonous gases in that factory. Of course, they were manufacturing stuff, so obviously they needed these things. But then there are technologies, there are precautions that need to be taken, but they were being neglected. So in 1981, one person who was working in that factory, he got killed. In January 1982, another gas leak happened. 25 workers were hospitalized because of that leakage. In September 1982, Union Carbide India Limited, they delinked the alarm from the siren warning system. So there was a warning system. Whenever gas leaked, the siren would get blown. But since this was happening again and again, 1981 it happened, 1982 January it happened. So in September they stopped the siren. They delinked the siren. That so that whenever the leakage happened, nobody gets to know. The authorities don't know. Police and government do not get to know that gas leakage was happening. Only the employees would know and they will handle it. This is what the company thought. Mr. Anderson and his company had played games, right? In 1983, a year later, another leak happened from the plant in which 100 residents had to be hospitalized. So again in 83, a gas leak happened and 100 people living in that locality went to the hospital. In March 1983, on 4th of March 1983, Bhopal Lawyer, there was a lawyer in Bhopal, Shahnawaz Khan. He served a legal notice on UCIL. So he sent a legal notice to the company saying that again and again leakages are happening from your company, from your factory, and this is not right. You have built up the factory at the wrong place, and you're not taking precautions, and you have stopped the siren. All this, he served a notice, but the company did not lend ears. They did not pay heeds to the legal notice, the written communication. They did not pay heeds to it. April 29, 1983. In a written reply, UCIL's works manager denied the allegations as baseless. So a written notice was given to them, legal notice, and they said in writing that nothing was going wrong. They said there was all those information of previous leakages were not true. They denied the facts. On paper, they have done that. December 3, 1984. Finally, the dark night arrived. Gas leaks happened with no warning. No warning given to the residents because sirens were already stopped. Residents did not get information. The leaks happened and thousands of people were killed. I was a newborn baby at that time. Yes. And my family also resided here in Bhopal. But we were lucky that we ran, and my parents, my family, my grandparents, they ran and saved me and my family from that disaster. But a lot of people were not as lucky. Look at the picture over here. These are real pictures. Thousands of people were killed. Written documents were neglected. For 3 years, now look at this picture. The man in this picture, he expired last year. He is no more now. And this man, his name was Rajkumar Keswani. He was a journalist, and he had, for 3 years, Bhopal journalist Rajkumar Keswani kept warning the administration that the Union Carbide plant was unsafe. So Mr. Keswani was writing reports in his newspaper, he was publishing them, and he was saying that negligence is happening, such cases are happening time and again, but then nobody paid heed to it. His article was titled Bhopal Sitting on a Volcano. It was published months before the tragedy, but nobody paid heed to it. And warning letters to the chief at that time were given. They were not given true attention, and this tragedy happened. It is all there in black and white. Court cases are being filed. Mr. Anderson, who was the CEO then, he ran away and he was never caught. And he lived a long life somewhere in America. And he even sold the company later. He, after living his complete life, he he took a nice sleep, the final sleep, but then he did not get the punishment. The cases are still pending in court, and the people of Bhopal are still suffering for generations because the poisonous chemicals that leaked from the factory in form of gases and liquids and powders, they still are there in the land and water, and people living in certain localities are still suffering after 2 generations. So, Bhopal gas tragedy, could that be stopped? It could have been stopped if these written communications were taken seriously by so many people in the factory, in the company, in the authorities, in the localities. The written communication, how important it is. Yeah. Well, moving on to the next topic now. Unit 10, short business communication. You people are there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Moving on,
Yes, sir.
short business communication. What are the types of business correspondence? There are different types of business correspondences, right? One, internal correspondence. Two, external correspondence. Three, sales correspondence. Four, personal correspondence. Five, circulars. And six, routine correspondence. I'll tell you what they are. The first one is internal correspondence. Any kind of letters, memos, reports that are being shared within the organization are called internal correspondence. So one employee writing to the other one department to other one person, one head writing to all his subordinates, whatever. All these are internal correspondence happening, right? Two, external correspondence, writing to your clients, writing to your suppliers, writing to your dealers, writing to your associates. All these are external correspondence. Sales correspondence, your advertisements, your bills, your invoices, your quotations, all these are sales correspondence. Personalized correspondence. So there could be grievances of people, there could be reports, there could be complaints, there could be requisitions, there could be so many things. These are all personalized correspondences, right? Circulars, common letters that are given to all the people of a department or of the company. Uh, so one piece of information that is being circulated everywhere is called a circular. Routine correspondence, communication that happens every now and then, every regular intervals, is called a routine correspondence, right? So these are all various types of communications that happen within a business setup. Let us take examples of these once again and go about them. PayPal. Now, PayPal is a famous company, of course, you know, and these days, in times of digital payments and digital transactions, PayPal is a big name now. So, the digital payment company needed to address an internal report. So, there was an internal report within the company which said that there are a lot of people in the company, a lot of employees of the company who do not use the services of PayPal. You getting my point? So the company, they did a survey within themselves only, and they realized that there were people who were not using their own services. They were not. They did not have PayPal app in their mobile. They were not using PayPal services, and hence the president of the company, Davis Marcus, wrote a company-wide memo, business correspondence. He wrote a memo to the staff regarding the problem. Got the point? So there was a problem in the company. The problem was they did a survey, and in that survey, they have found out that the employees themselves are not using the PayPal services, which means that the people outside can raise fingers, they can point fingers. Come on, your own employees don't use your service. Why should we use your service? How do we trust your service? Right? So the company wanted their employees to use these services. So what did the president do? He wrote a memo to the people. How? David Marcus took a heavy handed approach to the matter. He told his staff to use the product or quit. Can you believe that? He gave a memo, and in that memo, he gave a written communication saying, if you are one of the folks who refuse to install the PayPal app, or if you can't remember your PayPal password, do yourself a favor. Go find something that will connect with your heart and mind elsewhere. So either you use PayPal or else leave the job and go. This was the memo he sent in the company. Now, this was supposed to be an internal communication within the company, right? But then it did not remain a secret. It was leaked, and when it leaked, people outside got the information, and this fellow, his case was taken. The memo was leaked to the press. It generated widespread coverage across the media and left customers wondering what was wrong with an app that PayPal's own staff did not use it, and and the president had to write such strong letters to the employees, and it hampered the company's image also. This fellow also had to bear the loss, and obviously the problem could not be resolved. So when you're doing a written communication, any kind of business correspondence, you need to keep in mind whom are you writing to, what are you writing, where can it reach, what does it mean, what is the purpose. The purpose was to promote people to write. So is it necessary that you terrify them, or you threaten them and make them do it? You could also have motivated them through positive incentives. You could have encouraged them through some positive signals or ideas. But then this threatening letter worked adversely for everybody. So, the example of PayPal. Take another example of Roswell Honda. Proof that proofreading matters. Yeah. Okay, this is another case study. In July 2007, some folks in Roswell, New Mexico, went to their mailboxes to discover that they had each won $1,000 from the Roswell Honda car dealership in a scratch off direct mail sweepstakes. So, have you people ever done that? Have you ever gone through this kind of a program? So you go and buy something, then you buy something
No.
there. No, Vasant, I'll tell you what happens. So when you buy a product, along with that product you get a card or something, and you're supposed to scratch that card, right? And behind that a printed thing, when you scratch, you get you get an information that you've won a certain gift or something. Has that happened to you ever? Anybody? Yeah, you scratch a card or you scratch something, or maybe digitally you scratch something, and you get a code or you get a gift or you get some kind of a
Yeah,
discount.
I've done that before.
Have
Just
you availed
on
that?
promotional stuff. Yeah.
That
But I haven't
happens,
won
no? Yeah,
anything yet.
that's
Never
what
won
I'm saying.
anything.
So this company,
I
sorry
mean,
Vasant,
yeah,
I
I
did
did
not
have
get you. Come
some
again.
online digital scratch cards or even the real ones, but never won anything.
Yes. Okay, okay. Cool, 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 cool. So Roswell Honda did this in Mexico, right? So they sent these cards to people to scratch and win. Now there were a lot of people. What was the problem? 30,000 folks received the same message. There were 30,000 people. They all got the same message. And the message was that they have won $1,000 each. 30,000 people getting the message that they have won $1,000 when only a single person was supposed to. So the idea was that everybody will get a message, others will get some small gifts, but one person will get a 1,000 rupee offer. But there was a problem. All 30,000 people got the message of winning $1,000. The car dealership was left explaining to angry mob that it couldn't be paid because there was a fault, there was a problem. What was the problem? The ad agency who had designed those cards misprinted those cards. So they printed all the cards with $1,000 gift. So it was a printing mistake done by the advertising agency, the promotional agency. But the company was left in soup. There were people all around asking for their gift. They said, "We have found it, we have scratched it, and we have got the gift. Now you have to give it to us anyhow." Yeah, so this was another problem related to proofreading. If they had read it at the right time, they wouldn't have gotten into this situation. Roswell Honda. Ikea. Now Ikea is a brand that does furniture. What happened to them? Sometimes a picture isn't worth a thousand words. The Sweden-based home furnishing company IKEA is famous for its modernistic furniture styles and for one other thing. What is it? It's wordless assembly instructions. So IKEA is a company that manufactures furniture, and they use instructions without words. They don't write their instructions in. So I'm sure you people must have come across this kind of a leaflet or brochure along with the product. Whenever you buy a gadget or electronic goods or anything, you get some sort of literature with it, something written. Why do you get that? Those leaflets, those brochures, those literature things, it is there to instruct you on how to use that product or how to install that product. You get a new mobile, how to use that mobile, how to turn that mobile on, how to place the battery. There are instructions given, right? On everything, on every gadget, on any electronic or mechanical or electrical good that you buy, you get such information. So IKEA also did that, but the difference in communication was that IKEA did not give their instructions in terms of words. They actually used only pictures to explain what they wanted to say. By an IKEA computer station, for example, you get 32 pages of assembly instructions without a single word, only illustrations through pictures and diagrams and graphs. In this way, the company, which has customers worldwide, can avoid having print its instructions in many languages. Now, why did they not print in words and only in picture? Was because IKEA was working in a lot of countries, right? And in every country, if they have to print in every language, they had to do a lot of printing and take care of a lot of logistics. So they decided that they will not print in any language. They will only print diagrams, and using those diagram instructions, people will understand how to use the product. And they were doing it fine till this happened. Wordless instructions, however, can have two drawbacks. They sometimes leave out steps. Obviously, there are steps that you can miss because only diagrams are there. And two, they don't work well for those who are not good at translating the images they see into actions. Not everybody can understand pictures. Yes, there are some people who don't really read these pictures well. The result can be tragic. In recent years, at least two children were killed. Two children were killed when IKEA dressers tipped over onto them. So they were dressers, dressing tables, huge dressing tables. They fell on kids. Why did they fell? IKEA claims that it warns buyers to anchor such items to walls to prevent them from tipping over. So IKEA said that they had given instructions in the pictures that those dressing tables had to be tied to the wall, hooked to the wall, or chained to the wall. But people did not read the all the pictures, and they probably did not understand. This was such important information. Two kids lost their lives. In response, IKEA has had to create a series of TV advertisements warning its customers always to anchor large pieces of furniture. So they were saving money, they were saving, hard work. Now they had to make TV advertisements, and they had to run TV advertisements telling people that they had to tie the furniture to the wall. So this made them pay so heavily, and obviously the image dent could not be helped. It did happen. IKEA. Now look at this fellow. Look at this fellow. He looks like some sort of an. He looks like some sort of a scientist. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Bruce, a research chemist for a major petrochemical company, wrote a dense report about new
Image
compounds
is
he
not
had.
there, sir.
Sorry,
The image is not showing on the screen.
image is not showing. Which image?
Bruce.
So the actual picture I don't have. I'm not sharing the actual
Oh,
picture.
yeah. I mean, this
Yeah,
one wasn't showing before. Okay, thanks.
yeah. So Bruce, a research chemist for a petrochemical company, who wrote a dense report about some new components he had synthesized in the laboratory. So there was this fellow, he was a scientist, and he had discovered some new compounds in the factory, in the laboratory, right? And the laboratory was attached to a oil refining company. The bulk of the report consisted of tables listing chemicals and physical properties and diagrams of molecular structure and chemical formulas. Everything was there in that report. But then the company, the people in the responsible positions did not read the report. They took the report and kept it. Buried at the end of the report was a casual speculation. So in that report, somewhere in the end, it was written that this chemical that Bruce had identified or discovered was actually an insecticide. Now, Bruce had given this report. Nobody took it seriously and they kept it in the shelves. 7 years later, the same oil company launched a major research program to find out more effective but environmentally safe insecticides. So now this company, after 7 or 8 years, they started doing a research. They wanted to find out an environment friendly insecticide. So they did a research for 6 7 months, and people were trying to find out. But during this research, somebody uncovered Bruce's report, the research that Bruce had done. Somebody found that file. They took a few hours, studied that report, did a lot of tests, and they realized that whatever claims Bruce had done in that report is what they were looking for now, 7 years after. They were looking for an environment friendly insecticide, no? So Bruce had already found out, and it was there in his file, in his report, but nobody had taken it seriously. Bruce had since left the company because he felt that the importance of his research was not being appreciated. His written communication was not read and was not taken seriously. Yeah? How important is written communication? And we often do not take it seriously. Let us get on to some words which are important. I'm talking about written communication, and I want you to learn some words which um, do not hail from one particular company, which are not originally English words, but they are used everywhere and which are important in business communication. Here are 15 of those important words. The first one is ad hoc. If you want, you can take a picture of this slide, or if you want, you can note them down. You can note these words, or if you want, you can take a picture of this slide. The first word is ad hoc. Ad hoc. ADHOC. This word means for a particular purpose. Something done temporarily, something done for time being, for only a specific purpose, is called ad hoc. Ad hoc. Two is bona fide. Bona fide means trustworthy, genuine, something that we can believe in, something that has been there with us for some time. So bona fide employee, yeah, genuine. Only one bona fide member will be allowed to attend the meeting. Example, somebody who is trustworthy, genuine, bona fide. Number three is de facto, which means actual or real. Yeah, de facto. Number four is en route. En route, which means on the way. So when you're going somewhere or you're doing a process, on the way, this happens. En route. Ex officio, rank or position by virtue of one's office. Whatever job you're doing, whatever work you're doing, the rank and position that you bear is ex officio. Ex parte. Ex parte is one-sided. This is usually you come across this term only in courts. Usually, so when one of the two parties is appearing, the other one is not appearing before the judge. The judge, after a certain period of time, can say that since the other party does not even come to court or does not even appear in court, so I will give one-sided decision. Ex parte. Laissez-faire. This is more from the economics sector. Yeah, free, which means free entry or exit. Laissez-faire, the principle of non-interference. People can come and join the market, and they can move out also. Laissez-faire. Modus operandi. Number eight is modus operandi. the way of doing things. There is a method of doing things, methodology, the system, the steps of doing something, modus operandi. Number nine, par excellence, beyond excellence, something that is eminently great, wow, wonderful, par excellence, equal to excellence. Yeah, per capita. Per capita means per head, per head. So per capita income of a country means per head income. So how do you find out the per capita income? You're all management guys. I'm sure you are learning this. So to find out the per capita income, the total income of the country divided by the total number of the people in the country is the per capita income. Yeah, per capita is per head. Prima facie 11. Number 1111 is prima facie, which means on the face of it, by the first look, by the initial impression. Yeah, prima facie. Number 12, status quo. Status quo. Status quo means the existing condition, the contemporary condition, the present situation is status quo. Sub judice. Sub judice. Number 13. It means under consideration of a judicial body, a case or a problem which is being taken care by a judge. So let the judge decide. Sub judice. Number 14, versus, against. Number 15 is vis-a-vis, in relation to something or someone. I'm sure you've noted this down, or you have taken a picture of it. Cool. Going on to the next slide. Another example. The University of California at San Diego sent an email congratulating students who were accepted to the university. So now admissions were happening in the university. The students who were appearing for the admissions, who were giving entrance exams, were to be informed. So the university, they sent emails to all the students who were selected. But then they sent the same email to 40,000 students. Sorry, 47,000 students. 47,000 students, where did they come from? They were all the students who had applied to the university. And to everybody who had applied, the university by mistake sent emails of selection. Nobody fails, nobody is rejected. Everybody was selected, including tens of thousands who had already received rejection notices. This elicited confusion, outrage from the students, and outrage from the students and parents. This elicited that. Yeah. Zika car. So Tata is a very famous company here in India and worldwide, certainly. So Tata had made a car and they named it Zika in 2015. But very shortly, they had to change the name of the car. They changed the name to Tiago. Why? Because that was the year when Zika virus broke out. The way the last 2 years, coronavirus had broken out and everybody was going through suffering, through the pandemic. Same way Zika virus broke out in 2015, and hence the name of the car was changed from Zika to Tiago. Now, can you see this picture? What's wrong in this picture? Who will tell me?
I think the spelling is wrong.
The spelling is wrong. Correct. Who is that? Who's speaking?
Vasant.
Vasant. Yeah, Vasant. Smart.
Yeah, I
Well,
can read
yes.
the Hindi as well. So it says Thandi beer.
Oh, you can read the Hindi as well. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool. No, but
Say
I'm referring to the English one only. Here it is
yeah.
written child beer.
Uh, they meant
Child.
chilled beer.
Yes, it was supposed to be chilled. Chilled. Chilled beer. And the spelling of beer is BEER. While here, the person who has written the wrong spelling. He has written child, kid, child, bear, BEAR, bear. Yeah? Wrong communication, written communication. Okay, what's wrong in this picture?
Satanize.
They are
Satanize.
Satanize, yes. Please
satanic.
satanize your hands here. Not
Yeah,
sanitize. There is a spelling
yes,
mistake in it. Please
yes.
satanize your
Spelling
hands.
error.
Perfect, perfect. So all these are imagine how weird mistakes people make just because of say silly spelling mistakes. Now look at this. Attention. Toilet only for disabled, elderly, pregnant children. Now, looking at this, since there is no comma or there is no slash or anything that separates all these words, if you read them in one go, the sentence means there are toilets, but they are only for those children who are pregnant and are elderly and are disabled. So children who are disabled, elderly, and pregnant, only they can use toilet. Do you think this is what they intended to say? Of course
No.
not.
No,
They,
no, no.
they
And that
probably
children does not exist.
yeah, yeah, of
There's
course.
no such.
They
Hmm.
probably wanted to say they have toilets for disabled people and they have toilets for elderly people. They have toilets available for pregnant ladies and children only. Other
Hmm.
people may not use that particular toilet. Yeah, again, wrongly written. Now, four for the price of five. Right or wrong?
It's very wrong. Some people
Very wrong.
might think that why should they pay for 5 and receive one I
Yes,
receive four instead of
perfect,
five?
perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. Very true, very true. And why does this happen? This happens because people they don't proofread. Proofreading is very important. When you're planning your written communication, we have discussed those steps. All those steps are there just to ensure that the right communication goes through. When you don't go through the steps, you miss out on and do such silly mistakes. Yeah.
Yes,
The
that is
next
very
one.
correct, doctor. And sometimes if you didn't give somebody to proofread it for you, you might end up still making some mistakes
Yes,
too.
yes. Because our in a certain state of mind, you keep reading the same thing again and again, and still you don't recognize what mistake you have done, and hence somebody else should do the proofreading. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now read this. This is this is a piece of newspaper article, and they have written some information over there. But then they have written click here to compare them. Now, this was probably whoever had written this article in the newspaper had copied it from somewhere online, somewhere on the internet. They had copied, but they forgot to remove this. Click here to compare them. Imagine. Again, the same proofreading thing. Yes?
Yes,
Now,
exactly.
this advertisement, keep her where she belongs. Now, this is so much against women. Yeah, there is a shoe and woman is lying beside it. This is so disrespectful to women that women should be kept under the shoe. They should not be given respect. They should not be kept equal to men. Such a wrong thought. This is supposed to be an advertisement, but what social message is it conveying? So poor, so bad. In 2017, even Google did the same mistake. Google had to fire their employees, the employees who had penned a controversial memo on women and tech. So there was somebody in Google who had said that women do not understand technology as good as men do. The author wrote, among other things, that females suffered from neuroticism. Yeah, and those employees were sent out from Google because world over people were talking about Google in a wrong way. Okay, so since we're talking about written communication and we're talking about improving our written communication, there are some beautiful pieces of writing that you should go through that I would want to suggest to you today. First of them is a letter written by Sri Narayan Murthy, who is the founder of Infosys, and he had written a letter to his daughter, Akshata. Now, Akshata, I am not very sure if you people are aware or not, but then Akshata is the wife of Rishi Sunak.
Yes,
Rishi
yes,
Sunak,
yeah.
yes, Rishi Sunak is now the Prime Minister of UK.
okay. I don't
Yeah?
know if you can write the name of the book in the chat so that we can search for
This
it.
letter, this letter you would you can find it on internet also.
Yeah, I mean the name of the author of the letter so that we can search
Narayan
for it.
Murthy. Narayan
Okay.
Murthy, this here. This is the
Oh,
name.
okay.
This is the name. Yeah.
All
So
right.
if you type
Thank you.
on internet, Narayan Murthy's letter to his daughter Akshata, you will get that letter. And if you don't find it, so when we meet for the next class, tell me. I will give you the name of the book or wherever the source is.
All right. Thank
So it
you.
is easily available on internet. Yeah, it's open there in internet. Infosys founder Narayan Murthy's letter to his daughter Akshata. Second, there is a very famous poet and lyricist, Gulzar, Gulzar, Gulzar. He also wrote a letter to his daughter. The daughter's name is Meghna, Meghna, Meghna. This letter also you should read. It's a beautiful letter again. There is a famous cricketer, VVS Lakshman. His name is VVS Lakshman. And he also wrote a letter to his children, Sarvajit and Achintya. Another beautiful letter. A very famous chef, Sanjeev Kapoor. He had written a letter to his daughter, Rachita. You could read this one too. Famous badminton player, internationally renowned, Prakash Padukone. His daughter is a film actress. Her name is Deepika Padukone. And Prakash had written a letter to Deepika. Even that letter is famous and beautiful. Actress Sushmita Sen, who was also Miss Universe once, and she had written a letter to her daughter Rini. All these letters are beautiful pieces of writing and they are famous. And certainly, I'm sure you must have read the letter that President Lincoln had written to the teacher, the first teacher of his child. Even that is one of the famous letters. So do go through these things. This also helps us improve our language. It helps us
Excuse me,
improve our
sir.
language.
I have a question.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
Vasant.
mean, everyone sent a letter to their daughter only.
No, nothing of that
It's
sort.
something
Nothing
meant
of
to
that sort.
be
I
explored. Why they
I
haven't
am
written to the sons?
I no, I have used all these examples because yesterday it was National Daughters Day here in India.
Ah, right. Okay.
So that's the reason that I have used
Okay,
these
sir.
examples. That's the only reason. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay. So after this, now I'm giving you, say, I should say, a secret mantra, let's say. How do you write well? Yeah, if you're writing some sort of a business communication, business correspondence, there is a key to it, a secret to it. How do you do that? Shakespeare. Shakespeare. Remember Shakespeare. Yeah, Shakespeare. Now, what does that mean? S stands for use of short sentences. Don't use very long sentences because that complicates the whole idea. The person who is reading also does not understand it, and for you also it is prone that you make mistakes. So always use short sentences. H stands for no highbrow words. Don't use very heavy words. Don't use very uncommon words, right? A, call to action. Action. A, action. Call to action. What is to be done? What is required? What is the purpose should be made clear in your communication. K, key messages. The most important parts of the message should always be there. Remember, if you have if you have included the data, statistics, the core things in it or not. E, evoke emotion. Always, when you're communicating, I think it is good to touch emotions. So, in past three classes, this is our third session together, if you remember. I always try and make an emotional appeal to my audience. We have had jokes, we have had lighter moments, we have had emotional things. We like today we discuss certain nerve wracking episodes like Bhopal Gas Tragedy and Titanic. Yeah, so always use examples which touch emotions. S, be succinct. Yeah. P, not passive, not act. See, it depends. I would not say you always need to be passive. I would say at times you need to be passive, but at times you need to be active. Now, what is the difference between active and passive? A lot of times when we use passive voice, we are talking indirectly, and hence you can often be misunderstood, misread, or at times it also sounds as if you're blaming. So the best idea is to use a very direct language. Indirect language should be avoided. So P is not passive but active, right? E, exclude speed bumps. So going very fast. So even when you're writing, at times you don't give enough space, enough words to one idea. You kind of mix ideas. You rush through. In half a sentence you have said something, and in the rest of the half you're saying something else. In the sense you are in such a hurry that you just go through something without realizing whether you've given enough importance to that idea, that concept, that example or not. So don't be in too much of a hurry. A, dear aunt, which means you need to be respectful to people, in the sense whatever salutations are required, whatever formal protocols are required, they should be met, they should be done. R is remove jargon. So every company, every group, every organization, every industry has a certain set of words which are used only there, which are understood only by that group or organization or people or industry. People outside will not. So such jargons should not be used, because at times not everybody is aware of those terms, and hence the communication is not complete. And finally, the last E stands for effective structure. Your structure should be correct. Shakespeare. Please note this down if you want to, or take a picture. And now the last slide. This is the last slide. This is the last slide. Now just read it. This is a quote from US government official in their Congress, in their parliament. So this fellow said in parliament, I know that you believe you understand what you think I said, but I am not sure you realize that what you heard is not what I meant. Anybody who can tell me what this means? Anybody who can tell me what does this mean? Yeah? You want to try?
Can I try?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Please. I think on the whole, it's just that whoever has been listening has interpreted it in his own way, as
Sorry?
per how he wants to see it. Whoever has heard
Yeah.
the official, so
Yeah.
he or she is interpreting it as per his or her own beliefs or perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
in short. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, why couldn't this person say that you did not probably understand what I was trying to say? You misunderstood me. Just to say that small, little, simple thing, we have used such a complicated sentence. Yes? So, for some people, for some of us, we find it very decorative to use such a language. We feel, see how beautiful language, how twistfully we have said what we wanted to say. But then if you don't convey the message right, what you want to say, if the other person does not understand it the way you intend it to be, what is the benefit? So the last but not the least, the rule is to keep it simple. Kiss. Keep. K for keep, I for it, S for simple, S for stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't complicate it. Yeah?
So it means that in written communication, we just have to use simple sentences that are very easy
Use simple
to communicate and
Certainly, Fabi.
understand. Yes.
Certainly. We should always use
Use
simple
simple.
sentences,
Yes.
whether you're writing, whether you're speaking, whether you're making some sort of a presentation. You should always keep it simple. The more complicated it is, the communication will be more confusing. Yeah? Any other questions? Any questions? Want to ask something? Kiss. Yes, Asad. Asad Mustafa. Correct. Kiss. Yes.
So I don't know. Between when we are writing for business, is there any specification for how to write a business, like maybe later or anything?
No, I did not get your question. Please ask again.
Like okay, like in business, is there any specification like or other terminologies to use in writing letters?
In business,
Yes,
I'm sorry, I'm
like
not able to get.
like in a company, do are we supposed to be using some kind of terminologies?
Oh yes, oh yes. So every organization, every industry has certain language. Agreed. Yes, they do have a language, and see, keeping in mind the norms, keeping in mind the protocols, keeping in mind the decorum and respect in mind, there are certain terms and uh, linguistic details that you should be using certainly. But then, uh, when I said jargon, I meant there are certain terms restricted to that industry, which people outside that industry do not understand. So jargon should be avoided, but then the protocols, the language of that industry, the rules of that industry or company should definitely be followed. We should use that language certainly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, welcome, Hamis, welcome. Anybody else who wants to know something, ask something? No?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I can. Yes, I can.
Uh,
Please.
as the earlier on you showed those words from foreign other languages other than English, which are commonly used in English. Is it advisable to use those words often in business communication?
Uh, okay. Repeat your question once more.
Okay, is it advisable to use those words from other languages often in English as how
All
you
right.
should?
Got your point. Got your point. Got your point. So, see, these are two cases over here. One, when I am communicating to somebody within my company, within my country, within my region, maybe. So, if there are people who speak Hindi, I am communicating to them. I might use one or two words in Hindi. But then, if I am communicating to people in, say, within my country, but then they probably do not understand Hindi because in India you have hundreds of languages that people speak. Hindi is major language certainly. English a lot of people understand, but then there are a lot of other languages: Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam. So in such a situation, I would avoid using Hindi words so that that person understands my thing completely. Now, when it comes to international communication, because business communication is not only within the organization, it is intra-organization, inter-organization, and international also. So when you're talking to people, when there is a communication happening between two different countries, you should use a language which is common to them. And English it has been accepted as the international language of communication, especially in business. So, in such a situation, we should avoid words which are colloquial, which are local, which are specific to a region, so that there is nothing left to doubt. Yeah, if it is only restricted to people within your group or organization who understand that language, you can use such a word at times to explain it better. Am I clear?
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Okay. So I believe we have also discussed the doubts that we had. There is one more lecture left from my side, which will probably be happening on 1st of February, as per the schedule that I can see now. So I hope to see you all that day. I'd finish off the syllabus that day. Also, you should take out all the doubts that you have, and we'll discuss them that day. Uh, from anywhere that we have discussed in these three lectures as well. It's so wonderful speaking to you people. You people are such nice gentry. You respond so well. You receive it so nicely. I feel good with you. So thank you so much for being with me. We'll catch you soon. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Vasan. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.